my mask, about 30 seconds into grinding, just completely fogs up and you can't hardly see anything out of it. I think most of the grinders here no longer have guards on them because it's more important to get in a tight space than it is to not lose a finger, I guess. I don't know. Knock on wood, I haven't had any problems yet. This is the very same vise that, did I tell you about that, John? Kendall's talked about that before. I was drilling a hole with a hole saw with one of Kendall's drills, and the hole saw hooked up. And this is like, I had met Kendall like a couple months ago, and I was drilling something, and hole saw hooked up and wrapped my arm up in the cord and cut my hand open and all kinds of stuff. But I think, again, knock on wood, that's the largest injury I'd ever had here. Is just I got a cut on my hand. So I know this is wrong. I understand. I'm gonna keep doing it anyway. I do wear face and hand protection, so I guess it's not as bad as it could be. Till then, I'll keep grinding. Yeah, we're using a plasma cutter to cut this little foot pads out of 3/16 stainless, just some sheet we had laying around, and it's like really only use the plasma cutter maybe once a year, so it's a new day every time we break it out, and it takes probably well, more than a couple minutes, probably an hour or so of trying to get stuff dialed in, and even looking at tables to tell you how, you know, what to set the power at, what to set the pressure at, how fast to pull the cutter itself. It's still, you know, you really just have to get into it and do it. And I think at this point I should start writing down what I set the machine at and get it working properly at. But I always forget to do that. So the first couple of pads that we cut out were not really garbage. I think one of them kind of made its way to the scrap pile, but this is one of the early ones, and you can tell this is far from any precision CNC plasma table situation. This is really just like one level above freehand. We're clamping down a piece of L channel and then, you know, moving the plasma cutter along it, and it's a little wavy, so smoothing out with the grinder. The later ones, though, if you look at the edge on the later ones, nice clean cuts. So hopefully I won't have to grind on this one quite as long because it's nice and smooth. Well, maybe nice, but not quite smooth. I have a pack of about 50 of those robots, so don't worry too much. That thing will mean business if it hooks up, so watch yourself.
That looks dangerous.
How's that? Working?
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Oof. That's clean. So kind of trying to wrap up some of the stuff that needs to be done before we can move the car back to my house. As you know, my house is not as well equipped as Kendall's glorious shop is. So we're taking the time to build out a set of pin stands. John Huebbe had some time, so we took Saturday and went over to Shapiro Steel, picked up a bunch of 1-inch square tubing to make some A-frame pin stands out of, and I worked with my buddy Mike to cut out some stainless plate into some base plates, bend those base plates up with little triangular gussets on the side, and then we're going to take the A-frames that John has been laying out and cut pinholes in them and weld pins in to go into those pin receivers I welded in the car a couple of months ago. So that way there's no need for jack stands, and you can just put the car up on all 4 pin stands. It's going to be perfectly level and nice and stable, and actually look like a fancy rally car. So still a lot of work to do on that. Probably another day or 2, but I think John and I are kind of in the groove here. We got one just about finished that needs to be welded up. We wanted to make sure everything was square with that first before we went on and made the other 3. But now that we got everything dialed in, we can just go, you know, kind of work it out and cut all the pieces, tack them all together, bore some holes out on the mill, and get everything welded up. So hopefully the next couple days we'll have that finished.